What's good, everybody? Welcome in to The Early Edge, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all of sports betting, and it's not close. Man, did we have a fun day at the brand on Monday. Not one, but two NFL games. Now, the games weren't all that good, but we had a 2-hour show, and if you watched, we taught you a lot about live betting. We actually cashed one live on the show, and we just had a good time, which is what we're all about. Let's go ahead and take a look at our results because we are completely transparent every single day. Kind of as far as picks are concerned, kind of a ho-hum day, but this does not tell the story. You've got to watch these shows live. Turn on your notifications. Follow us on YouTube if you watch us on video, or Apple and Spotify. Let's bring in the stars of the show on this Tuesday. And look who I have at my disposal. First and foremost, live from Nashville, Tennessee, the penthouse level. M Squared. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you guys here. Fired up for a little baseball today. I haven't had a baseball play in a while. Got one for you today. Getting closer to the playoffs. Cannot wait for it.
I love it. Out here on the West Coast, so we may have a little pick on the show. The Dodgers have a little doubleheader, so we have day baseball, which we love so very much. Now, live from Las Vegas, Sin City, Zach Attack. Zach Simony, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. You know what? I was watching a lot of the shows yesterday, and I kept hearing wiggle room. You've got wiggle room. Well, with these small yardage props, you have zero wiggle room. So I was sweating both of those props. Kenneth Gainwell, first third down, just left uncovered. I'm like, oh my goodness. And they threw the flag. Thank goodness. Again, he's fighting for yards late, and he wasn't going to get the first down, but he was fighting for that prop, it looked like. But he didn't.
I felt like he was.
He didn't get it. Thank goodness.
I kept looking at the box score, and it was 1 catch, 11 yards. And the number, if you don't know what Zach is talking about, was 11 and a half.
11 and a
half.
half.
That was the over, 11 and a half. We cashed it by a half.
And he almost had the catch with 7 minutes left, but it went
man.
Right through his hands. They put him on the bench for Boston Scott for the rest of the game, pretty much.
It's so much fun to think about you guys sweating these, and then me too when I make a pick, but that's as close as it gets. All right, now, finally, he is our baseball aficionado. We cannot forget about the boys on the dirt. Johnny Bolden, Johnny B, good morning.
Morning, Coach. Yeah, we got exactly 2 weeks and 1 day left in the Major League Baseball regular season, so things are starting to heat up. I'm excited.
Yeah, next year we'll still be looking at like 2 more months of baseball the way they're adding to that schedule. It's crazy. Speaking of schedule, let's go ahead and show you what the week looks like here at the brand because we have a busy day. Don't forget today, this is the show. Mikey tells you all the time, you got to watch our mega preview on Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. You got to beat the number because by Tuesday to Sunday, so much changes. Then AB and the boys on Wednesday with our college football mega preview. Last week, how did they do? 12-3, 80%. So far this year as a crew, they're hitting at 68%. Stop it. They are the best. And then, of course, the Prop Shop of Prop Stars on Thursday on Twitter Spaces and our Prop Spectacular with Uncle Dave, Prop Stars, and see ya on Friday. All right, let's get into it. Storylines that affect the betting lines today. And, Johnny, you mentioned it. 2 weeks until playoff baseball. So we always like to look at things from a betting perspective. You're up.
Exactly, Coach. And things have lengthened out a bit recently. Obviously, we want every division to be erased. We want all the wild cards to be erased, but that just isn't going to happen, unfortunately. So there are really only 3 races left. The AL Central is one of them. The Guardians are up on the White Sox by 4 games. They're up on the Twins by 7 games. So I'm eliminating the Twins from contention personally. But that equates to a minus 1,200 line for the Guardians to win the division with the White Sox at plus 900. I don't think the White Sox are going to come back, and the odds imply that there. So we're just going to move on to the next game, race. The Orioles are 5 games back. They're essentially out of the AL wild card. On the NL side, the Brewers are 2.5 games back of the Phillies and 3 games back of the Padres for the last NL wild card spot. That puts the Brewers at plus 175 to make the playoffs, while the Phillies are minus 400 and the Padres are minus 800. I do think there's some value there on the Brewers. I think they could sneak in. That's really the only race that I see changing. Then the other one, NL East, the biggest race we have left, is really the only division race. The Mets are up by 1 game, minus 245 favorites to win the NL East. The Braves are plus 190. These teams play a series next weekend, a 3-game series. It's the second last series of the season between these two teams. And remember, there's no game 163 this season. Instead, there are tiebreakers. And the first tiebreaker is head-to-head record. If the Mets win one of the 3 games, then they will have the tiebreaker. So if the Mets win one of those 3 games against the Braves next series and they end up with the same exact record this season, the Mets will win the division. So that's why you see the odds so heavy there.
That's next level kind of stuff right there. Educate and freaking entertain. That's how you do a first storyline. That was great stuff, man. All right, now that's baseball. But football right now is our bread and butter. Thursday night. It doesn't get any tighter. Well, if you're talking about points, Steelers and the Browns, Zach, dig deeper for me. What do you got?
Well, the Cleveland Browns, they have been great in Thursday night football dating back to 2018. 4-0 straight up, 3-1 ATS. The only ATS loss was by 1 point to the Cincinnati Bengals when they won by 5 points, and the spread was 6. And Jacoby Brissett, you remember last year he filled in for Tua, and he won that Thursday night football game against the Baltimore Ravens at home as an 8.5-point underdog. A couple years before that, with the Colts, shocked the world as an 11.5-point underdog and beat Kansas City outright. Wasn't even in a contest. And both of these teams right now, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I know we've only played 2 weeks, but they have the smallest margins in terms of points scored and points allowed. Pittsburgh scored exactly 37 points and given up 37 points. Obviously, they won by 3 week 1, lost by 3 in week 2 to the Patriots. And the Cleveland Browns, they have scored 56 points and given up 55 points defensively after they beat the Panthers by 2 points, lost to the Jets by 1 point.
Are you not worried a little bit that the way they lost to the Jets is going to affect them a little bit from a betting perspective, the Browns?
I do think the spread is a little bit higher than it should be, but I haven't fully assessed the point spread. It's definitely something they're probably going to switch up that game plan a little bit. I think you would see a lot more handoffs for Kareem Hunt as well with Nick Chubb.
Man, 2 scores in the final 2 minutes to lose by 1. That hurts. And they only got 4 days to recover. Of course, we've got a live stream on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time to dissect Thursday Night Football top to bottom. But I like getting to play in early that Zach has coming up. Now, let's get to our board. But before we do that, you know we've grown so large. We got to pay those pesky little bills. Here's a word from one of our incredible partners. And we are back. All right, got 2 plays from SportsLine tonight because I said, you know what? I feel like the show's a little bit light today. So I went into the numbers, I looked at the simulations, and if you are not a SportsLine member, what are you doing? But right now, never been a better time. Use the promo code EARLY, and you get 30 days for free. All my simulations, all my cappers, all of it for free. Just test this out. I'm telling you, you'll stay. So when I went into the Sims today, the Dodgers, even though they've already clinched stuff out west, they're still playing great baseball. Last night, the Maestro and Alabama, they both cashed the Dodgers on the run line. We're going right back to the well again today. -1.5, -115 starts daytime, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 out here on the West Coast. Then, because Zach Davies is on the mound, our simulations show that for the game, the Dodgers will score 5.5 runs. So I'm willing to bet that in the first 5, they can get to 4 off the starters. So we're going to go over 3.5. Also, I think plus money. I can't remember exactly. Plus money. There you go. Plus 110. Those are our 2 plays from SportsLine itself. Now, you know when he's on the show. Sometimes if you're feeling a little bit low, sometimes you feel like you don't have a little bit of energy. Sometimes you got to pick yourself up, or you can let us do it for you. So, Mikey, let's get this board started on a Thursday. Thursday? How about a Tuesday? You know the drill, son! Oh, it doesn't matter if it's tennis, college football, NFL football, or even back to baseball. My man could do it all. Give it to me.
All right. I wish it was Thursday for Thursday Night Football already, but we're hitting Tuesday baseball. In the storylines, Johnny talked about the White Sox and the Guardians in the AL Central. That's a game I want to attack. I'm going under the total of 7.5, -115. Currently available on FanDuel still. It has moved to 7 on some of the other books. I like it here, though. I think this line honestly should be closer to 6.5. We're not going to see it with these 2 pitchers necessarily. Savali returning from the injured list, forearm injury, not super concerned about him. Cease on the other side, we know how great he has been all season. Look for that to continue. Not a great hitting environment overall tonight in Chicago. But what it really is it's essentially a playoff baseball series. The White Sox trail by 4 games. They have a 3-game series here with the team that they are trailing. This is the time that they have to make a move. Starts with tonight. We should see this play a lot more like a playoff game and a playoff series in general. That typically leads to a little less offense, very good defense, very good pitching. I'm going under 7.5 runs, minus 115.
You're damn right it does. I can already see like 2 hours, 10 minutes, 3-2. Easy sweat. I love this play today. All right, so that's where we start. That's where we start. But, we are far from finished. Now, last night, Johnny, I played the Rays. And I looked down at my phone as I'm trying to keep track of all the baseball. And I'm like, what are they doing? The bats just could not get going. But today is a different day. Talk to me.
Yeah, Coach. So a big thing about yesterday, full disclosure, I was leaning the Rays too. However, the Astros had a chance to win the AL West yesterday, and they did it. So you know what that means is they were all partying last night. They had the champagne out. There are videos of Dusty Baker getting dumped in champagne. They had fun yesterday. So I think literally every starter is going to be out of the lineup today. That being said, I like the Rays on the money line, minus 130 against the Astros. Shane McClanahan recently came off the IL, but he didn't allow a run when he came off the IL. He's been dominant this season. Christian Javier has also been very good lately, but the Rays have been dominant at home. And like I said, the Astros should have all their starters out. So the public is starting to realize this. This line is shooting up fast. Get that in as soon as possible. The second play for me, I like the Rockies, plus 130 against the Giants. Kyle Freeland hasn't allowed more than 1 run in any of his last 3 starts, and he's been solid against the Giants this season. John Brebbia is just going to be an opener for the Giants. He's been solid this season, but he won't go more than 2 innings. The Giants have yet to name a primary reliever. It could be a bullpen game. But the Rockies have won 5 of the last 8 games between these teams, and they're much better at home at 40-35 this season. So I really like them at home at plus money.
To Johnny's point, I just looked as you're giving out the second play. The Rays already up to minus 146. It's going like this. Yep. I got it in like 3 minutes ago. It's just going. Get it in right now. That's why we're here. That's why Johnny is here. Quick question, Mikey. Would you take the under at 7 at even money for your game?
Yes, at even money, it is still fine. I don't want to get into the situation of 7, minus 110, minus 115, as, again, I think that line's only going down in that game today.
All right. For those of you who go, what's the matter between 10? It matters when you do it every day. Those 10 cents, that 15 cents, it adds up. It adds up. All right. Now, we've got the Rockies. We got the Rays. We got the under in the American League Central. But I need a little football, just a little taste as we start to get ready for a mega preview later today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, Zach Attack, if you don't mind, give me something.
You got it, Coach. We're going with an under this time in Thursday night primetime when Donovan Peoples-Jones under 32.5 yards receiving. We're seeing two sides of the spectrum with Donovan Peoples-Jones. Week 1, he had 11 targets, double-digit targets against the Carolina Panthers. Last week, he had 1 target against the Jets. Just a crazy two-side of the spectrum there with Jacoby Brissett throwing him the football. And he had 60 yards receiving Week 1. A big fat goose egg against the New York Jets 0. So, of course, we're seeing that divided split from odds makers for his prop 32.5 yards with a little extra tax of 2.5 yards there. But Jacoby Brissett, he's going into his 40th career NFL start. His average passing yards over his career is just 205 yards. I talked about how great his backfield is with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Clearly better than what he had with the Miami Dolphins and Indianapolis Colts. I expect the Browns to run that football and control the game clock. That's what they've done this year. They had a 17-minute time of possession advantage against the Carolina Panthers, 38.5 minutes versus the Panthers, 21.5 minutes. They had a 5-minute advantage against the New York Jets. We already know Pittsburgh's script with Mitch Trubisky. They are going to try to do the same thing and protect that football. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones goes under 32.5 yards.
You know, it's such a good thing that I love you so much, Zach, because my man Kyle in the chat said it best. Coach is going to break his TV with all of these unders today. No, I won't, because they're all going to hit. We're all going to cash. And I never get upset at a cash ticket at the pay window. All right, grab your paper, grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of Jake the Snake on the ones and the twos. M Squared, Guardians, White Sox under 7.5. Says it's going to be more like a playoff game, playoff atmosphere, low scoring, keep it close to the vest. Then Zach Attack getting us started on Thursday Night Football just a little bit early. Donovan Peoples-Jones. Let's go under his receiving total of 32.5 at -110. Then Johnny B. He's on the Rays money line, -130. Rockies money line, let's go +130. And then from SportsLine itself, the Sims tell us Dodgers on the run line. Dodgers team total over 3.5 in the first 5. Let's take advantage of that starting pitching situation in the D-backs locker room. All right. It's a busy, busy day at the brand. Don't forget, Early Edge in 5 at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. No, 4 today. Sorry, it's Tuesday. And then, of course, our mega preview at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time with M Squared, with RJ White, the stoic one, of course, the maestro, Larry Harstein. We grind, and during the NFL season, we grind every single day, but damn it, we love it. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love them all. M Squared, Johnny B, Zach Attack, and of course, Jake the Snake on the ones and the twos. I am the coach. Tell all your friends. Give us a shot. Try us out. You'll laugh a little bit, have some fun, learn, and most of all, you'll feel like you're a part of something because you are at the Early Edge. Good luck.